Hello guys, how are you all? I hope that you all are good. My name is Uday and let's talk about our today's video, which is regarding Maharana Pratap the legend. So let's get started. So in our first slide, you can see here Maharana Pratap Singh to Maharana Pratap. So in this slide, we will cover that how Maharana Pratap became from how Pratap Singh became Maharana Pratap. So let's get started with our introduction. Maharana Pratap was born on 9th May in 1540 in Kumbhalgarh, Rajputana, present-day Rajasthan. Present-day Rajasthan was previously known as Rajputana, and Maharana Pratap was born on 9th May in 1540 in Kumbhalgarh, which is located in Rajputana. So his father was Maharana Uday Singh II, and his mother was Rani Jayawanta Kaur. So his father's name was Maharana Uday Singh II and his mother was Rani Jayawanta Kaur. And he was destined to be the 54th ruler of Mewar in the line of Sisodia Rajputs. So Sisodia Rajputs ruled on Mewar and he was the 54th ruler of Mewar in the line of Sisodia Rajputs. In 1572, after the demise of Uday Singh, Rani Dhirbai insisted that Uday Singh's son Jagmal should be crowned as the king, but the senior courtiers felt that Pratap was a better choice to handle the prevailing situation. This is how Pratap succeeded his father to the throne. In 1572, Uday Singh passed away, and his wife Rani Dhirbai insisted to all that Uday Singh's son Kumar Jagmal should be crowned as a king. But all the senior courtiers, who uh, all of them felt that Pratap was a better choice to handle the prevailing situation, which was there, and this was how Pratap succeeded his father to the throne. Now we will read about the key points in this video. Childhood. First is childhood, then second is Mughal attacked Mewar, the siege of Chittorgarh, which was caused, and then is Rana Pratap crowned and the consequences which was caused by the crowning of Rana Pratap. Then comes Uday Singh, and fifth was establishment of Udaipur, by whom it was established, when it was established, where we will cover all the concepts on this, and Battle of Haldighati. I think most of you know about what was Battle of Haldighati, who won and who fought it. If you don't know, we will study in this video. Then seventh is last one, which is Maharana Pratap died, when he died, how he died, and what was the consequences which were caused about after his death. And the last is others. In others concept, we will talk about those who are not mentioned or who are not briefly given about in this video. So let's get started. So firstly comes childhood. So Pratap never tolerated betrayal to his motherland. Pratap never wanted that someone or anyone betrays his motherland, and he was very brave warrior who always cared about his citizens. He always cared that no citizens are facing any issues or problems related to grains or shortage of water, electricity, etc. He was loved by all the courtiers for his loyalty and for his bravery. All the courtiers of the all the courtiers of Maharana Uday Singh loved him, as he was very loyal to his motherland and he was very brave also. And at the age of 17, he got married to Princess of Bicholia, Maharani Ajabde Punwar. So now let's talk about Mughal attacked Mewar. So as I told you that the siege of Chittorgarh was when Mughal attacked Mewar. It was caused on 20 October 1567 and lasted till 23 February 1568. And it was a part of the campaign of the Mughal Empire, which was against the kingdom of Mewar in 1567. So the siege of Chittorgarh was a campaign which was organized by the Mughal Empire against the kingdom of Mewar in the year of 1567. So on 20 October 1567, He encamped near the fortress of Chittorgarh. Maharana Uday Singh II had already retreated from the fortress of Chittorgarh and went to Gogunda. Okay, so on 20 October 1567, uh, he encamped near the fortress of Chittorgarh. The Mughals came near the fortress of Chittorgarh and just made tents there and started living there. So Maharana Uday Singh II had already left the fortress of Chittorgarh and was gone to Gogunda. And he left behind 8,000 soldiers and 1,000 musketeers under the command of Jamal and Patta. Jamal and Patta were those the who were controlling the soldiers when Uday Singh was not present at Chittorgarh, Mewar. So let's move ahead. Rana Pratap crown. Let me change the color of the ink. So now, Rana Pratap crowned and what were the consequences? So after the death of Uday Singh, Maharana Pratap was crowned in 1572 in Gogunda Fort. So Maharana Pratap was not crowned in Chittorgarh Fort because the Mughals had attacked Chittorgarh. So they all were gone to Gogunda Fort. So in 1572, when Uday Singh had passed away, Maharana Pratap was crowned, and he was crowned because he was the one who should be king as per the wish of Uday Singh and his courtiers. So all the courtiers and Uday Singhs liked, and they wanted that Maharana Pratap should be the king in the future. And when he was crowned, he was only and only 32 years old. And Maharana Uday Singh had five wives, and one of them was Rani Bhatiani, and she wanted her son Jagmal to be the king. So, Maharana Pratap was so respectful and so honorable to all the citizens and the people, those who were living in Mewar. So, to honor the decision of Rani Bhatiani, Pratap left the throne for Jagmal. However, he knew that it would be so disastrous. The Chindavat Rajputs forced him to leave the throne and hand over it to Pratap, and especially the Chindavat Rajputs forced him to leave the throne and just give it to Pratap. And when he was just fed up of all the pressurization, Kur Jagmal left the throne unwillingly. He don't wanted to leave the throne. He just left it unwillingly and handed it over to Pratap. So let's move ahead. Now we will read that who was Uday Singh. So Uday Singh II was born on 4th of August 1522 and died on 28th February 1572. And he was the Maharana of Mewar and also the founder of city of Udaipur in present day Rajasthan. So Uday Singh was also the Maharana of Mewar, and he was the founder of city of Udaipur also, which is located in Rajasthan state of India. So he was the 12th ruler of the kingdom of Mewar, and he was the fourth son of Rana Sanga and Rani Karnavati, a princess of Bundi. So Rana Sanga and Rani Karnavati's fourth son was Maharana Uday Singh. In 1540, Maharana Uday Singh was crowned in Kumbhalgarh by the nobles of Mewar, and his eldest son was Maharana Pratap, which was from his first wife Maharani Jayavanta Bai Sonkar. Was born in the same year. His second wife, Sajjabai Solankini, gave birth to his sons Shakti Singh and Vikram Dev Singh. So Sajjabai Solanki's sons were Shakti Singh and Vikram Dev Singh. Then next comes Dhirbai Bhatiani, and Dhirbai Bhatiani was his favorite wife and was the mother of his sons Jagmal Singh, Kunwar Agar Singh, Kunwar Pachat Singh. And Dhirbai also bore Uday Singh two daughters. So Dhirbai had five children: Jagmal Singh, Kunwar Agar Singh, Kunwar Pachat Singh, and also she had two daughters. Rani Veerbai Jhala. She was the mother of Kunwar Sagar Singh and Kunwar Rai in 1557. Uday Singh defeated by Maldev Rathod at the Battle of Harmada and lost Meta to him. So I've also mentioned a war here which was fought by Uday Singh in 1557, and he was defeated by Maldev Rathod at the Battle of Harmada and he lost Meta there. Let's move to the next slide. So now we will talk about Udaipur. So Udaipur, India was founded in 1553 by Maharana Uday Singh II in the fertile circular Girva Valley to the southwest of Nagda on the Banas River. So Udaipur was founded on 1553 by Maharana Uday Singh in the fertile circular Girva Valley in the southwest of Nagda on the Banas River. You should also know that where it is, it was found and located. So the city was established as the new capital of Mewar. Why it was established as new capital? Because Mughals have attacked Chittorgarh fort, so now they had to make their new capital. In 1567, when Mughal Empire was threatening Mewar and captured Chittorgarh fort, Uday Singh built a large 6 kilometer long wall to protect Udaipur from attacks. The wall had 7 gates. Even today, this region is called the wall city of Udaipur. So, in 1567, Chittorgarh fort was captured by the Mughals, and Uday Singh knew that now they would obviously attack at the at Udaipur also. So, to protect Udaipur, Uday Singh built a large 6 kilometer long wall, and that wall had 7 gates. And even today, this region is known as the walled city of Udaipur. And why this wall was built? This wall was built so when Mughals would come, they would try to break this wall, and until that, they all will get ready, and they would have much time to get ready, and they can just gather all together, and then they can fight with Mughals. So let's move to the next slide. So now we will talk about the Battle of Haldighati. So most of you have known about Battle of Haldighati, and those who don't know will come to know now. So the Battle of Haldighati was a battle which was fought on 18 June 1576 between whom? Cavalry and archers supporting the Rana of Mewar, Maharana Pratap, and the Mughal Emperor Akbar's forces led by Mansingh and Mansingh first of Amber. So the Battle of Haldighati was fought on 18th June 1576 in between the supporters of Rana Pratap, Rana of Mewar, Maharana Pratap, and the Mughal Emperor Akbar. And the Akbar's forces were being led by Mansingh first of Amber. So let's now see the results. The results were that the war was won by Maharana Pratap. Findings on land records from the 16th century and said that for a year after the 18 June battle in 1576 means in 1577, Maharana Pratap distributed land in villages near Haldighati. So Maharana Pratap decided to distribute the land near Haldighati to the villagers by handing out rights inscribed on copper plates that had the signature of Diwan of Eklingnath. On the copper plates, there was signature of the Diwan of Eklingnath, and a lot of people were killed from both the sides, causing a lot of destruction. But it was essential for the freedom of the Sisodia Rajputs. So let's move to the next slide. Now we will talk about Maharana Pratap died. So I have also given a picture here. So now let's talk when he died and how. What was the reason? So Maharana Pratap died at the age of 56 on January 19, 1597. So you have to remember that when he died and what was his age at that time. So when Maharana Pratap died, he was at the age of 56, and the date was January 19, 1597. And he died due to tetanus, While hunting, he got some serious injury which caused a severe issue, and after his death, his son Amar Singh first became the ruler of Udaipur, and he was also as same as his father, brave, loyal towards motherhood, and also honorable among the courtiers. So, this injury, which was caused to Maharana Pratap, took a severe issue and caused tetanus. And when after the death of Maharana Pratap, his son Amar Singh became the first ruler of become the ruler of Udaipur after the death of Maharana Pratap, and he was also also as same as his father, because he was also brave, and he was also loyal towards his motherhood as like his father, and he was also honorable amongst his courtiers. So now let's move to our next slide. So as I told you that there is some other section also, so in this other section we will firstly talk about Maharani Ajabde, who was the first wife of Maharana Pratap. So Maharana Pratap had two wives, and Ajabde was the one of them. So, Maharani Ajabde was the first wife of Maharana Pratap. She was born in 1542, and she got married with Maharana Pratap in 1557 when she was only 15 years old and Maharana Pratap was 17 years old. So, Maharani Ajabde was the first wife, and she was born in 1542, and she got married with Maharana Pratap in the year of 1557. And when she was at the time of her marriage, she was only 15 years old, and Maharana Pratap was 17 years old. She was very courageous, and she always supported Maharana Pratap. And unfortunately, she also died in January 1591, before 6 years of the death of Maharana Pratap. Maharana Pratap died in 1597, and Ajabde died in 1591. She was stabbed by a killer who had been sent to Mewar to kill Maharana Pratap by Akbar, but had fatally injured Ajapte instead of leading to a painful death. So now let's move to the next slide. I will talk about Rani Fulkavar, who was the second wife of Maharana Pratap. So initially called Rajkumari Fulkavar Rathore, before marriage was a princess of Marwar, one of the most powerful and biggest state. Wait, yeah, now let's get started. One of the most powerful and biggest state in the Rajput kingdom. Marrying full cover was not easy for Maharana Pratap, as Marwar and Mewar were enemy state. But little facts known are on how Maharana married full cover, but it is assumed by many historians that Rao Maldev, the Maharaja of Marwar, grandfather of full cover, refused to do any kind of marriage alliance with Maharana Pratap. But after his death, when Akbar took over Marwar, Maharana Pratap saved full cover for being sent to Akbar's harem, which eventually led to marrying Fool. Okay, so before the marriage, Rani Fulkavar was called Rajkumari Fulkavar, and she was the princess of Marwar, which was the most powerful and biggest kingdom in Rajput kingdom. And marrying Fulkavar was not easy for Pratap because Marwar and Mewar were great enemies. So eventually, at last, they both get married because Rana Pratap saved Rani Fulkavar from Akbar's harem. So our next slide is regarding Chetak. Chetak was the horse of which was driven by Maharana Pratap in the war of Haldighati, and he was so brave. The horse of Rana Pratap saved Rana Pratap's life in the Haldighati war. It ran 5 kilometers with one leg broken by the opponents and jumped 22 feet canal and leaves last breath. So it ran 5 kilometers with one leg broken, means it ran with three legs, and it jumped 22 feet canals, and at last he died because it was not easy for a horse to jump 22 feet, but to save his master's life, to save Rana Pratap's life, he jumped so long, and the horse died of battles of wounds after helping the Rana effect a miraculous escape from the Battle of Haldighati. So the memorial is said to have been built at the spot that Chetak died. So you have heard about Chetak Samar. Let me, if you have not heard, you can also search it. Samarak. Chetak Samarak. So it is located in Udaipur at the place where Chetak died in the memory of Chetak. So let's move to next slide. So this is our last slide, and thank you all for watching my video. And please like and share my video, and also subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, all I post. And I would once again like to thank you all for watching this video. Goodbye.